December is here and I could not be more excited. For me, that means Hunter's first birthday, Christmas, and for us in Australia, the start of summer and hopefully a summer of some really good weather. But before we get into resetting for the new month ahead, let's take a look back at some of my highlights from November. In November, I set myself 3 goals that were more like lifestyle pillars as opposed to like specific kind of tangible things. The first one was to radically up-level my health, and man, did God just laugh at me at that one, because I got really sick. I got the flu and I have gotten sick a few times this year. It's probably like the most consistently sick I've been ever. Like I very rarely get sick. And this flu just knocked me for a 6. I think I was unwell properly for like a week and then it just sort of lingered, and like even now I still feel it sort of in my chest and like very run down. So it was quite difficult to be and feel healthy during this time. Like while I was sick, I was pretty well unable to exercise. I didn't have much of an appetite. I did drink a lot of water because I was so dehydrated just from coughing and blowing my nose and whatnot. So I can't say that one went exceedingly well. My second one was begin my low buy, which is just sort of something I'm kind of dabbling in towards the end of the year and then going to be like a bit more strategic about it in the start of next year. And I feel like I've gone pretty well with that in terms of like keeping up my no spend days, trying to be more strategic with my grocery shopping and cutting down that bill, like not going overboard when it comes to Christmas presents, which I've been buying during this month. And then my last goal was to rebrand and enhance my YouTube channel. I've already, if you haven't noticed, I've made a new banner for my homepage. I've updated some of the descriptions of my playlist, moved some things around. I'm starting to like be more strategic with like SEO and like my keywords, my description boxes. This is all like the back end, like nitty gritty of YouTube stuff. Actually, if you want a video that kind of goes into behind the scenes of like the steps that I take to edit a video, like how many run throughs I do and what I do each time, how I like organize my thumbnails, uploading, etc. Like all of the kind of behind the scenes stuff, including like analytics and monetization and all that, just let me know. Obviously I am a small fish in a very big pond, but I find it particularly interesting learning about this sort of stuff and just knowing what goes on behind the scenes. So I feel like at least my second and third goals have been somewhat successful. My first one, not much I could do in that realm, but what I've decided that I'm going to do is, instead of creating like a whole new list of goals for December, I'm actually going to just stick with these 3, and these are just things that I really like to become like more entrenched habits to finish out the year with. And I really just want to focus on just enjoying the season, enjoying the summertime and what that means with hunter and beach days and just nature, and just really being more present and observant, and just, yeah, in the moment and mindful, I guess, is what I would like to be like as just an overall feeling and vibe. And I feel like all three of these things can kind of play in with that. So no fresh goals. Sometimes you honestly just need to take a break and be like, I don't need to be working on something new right now. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Or, you know, sometimes you just need to scrap it all and be like, okay, I'm gonna just spend a month just being silent and trying to like get in tune with my values and my vision and where I want to go with things, and just take that moment to just listen and feel it out, and come back to the drawing board a little bit. And that is totally fine. We're all about slow living and intentional living here. It's not about like hustle culture and trying to smash out as many goals as possible. So if you really just need to take a break, you know, this holiday season, this final month of the year, to kind of just cast a bit of vision, do some prayer, whatever it is you like to do, then just do that. Let it speak to you.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on just to wake you up. When I dance around, I can't help but feeling, I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. 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 I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever?
This is the finished product of my bookcase. It has been, I don't know how long since I've had a bookcase set up that is not strictly color coded, so it's taking a while for me to get used to, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. But up the top here, I've got my fiction kind of more larger book books, and then this is all non-fiction. This is like more home section, travel, and then poetry, my Harry Potter books, and then these fiction ones are categorized in terms of author. So you've got Tessa Bailey here, Holly Jackson, Jenny Han, and Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I kind of like this idea of having a few like cool covers facing out, just to add a little bit of something different. I'm not sure how I feel about this specific one. Maybe I should select one of the other ones, but I think that might be the prettiest cover out of those. So that's the one that's happening there for the meantime. This is like my more, I guess, lifestyle nonfiction. And then we've got health. These are my Christian books. This is more of like slow living type. And then these are all of my fiction. And these ones I did put in color coded. And then I also have some more like sustainability type ones down there, stack of paper. And then these are all of the photo books that I printed out. And I did try and keep majority of the books that I haven't read in this section, well, at least for my fiction. But there are sort of some just kind of piled around in certain other places as well. And I'll just see how it goes with this little setup and see if I can kind of get used to it a little bit more. But chances are probably down the line I will redo it, because I just can't help myself. I like to keep things fresh and change things around as much as I possibly can. I'm going to do my book review starting from least favorite to most favorite. And my least favorite that I read in November was Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. I found her incredibly hit and miss lately. I really liked It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line and Sinker, and even My Killer Vacation, but I did not like Secretly Yours, and I did not really like this book either. I'm probably going to give it maybe a 2.5 out of 5. If I'm lucky, it's a 3. I just was hoping that it would be more New York Christmas romance, and the romance was a central part of the story, but it was too much heavily focused on like the sexual tension and like the physical aspect of the characters' relationship, and I felt like it just took away from anything and everything else that she was trying to bring into the storyline. There were so many other avenues that I felt like she could have spent a lot more time delving into, but it was just so heavily focused on this physical part of their relationship. I also just found the characters as individuals like coming together and like being interested in each other, it just didn't seem to fit. And there were just things that she brought up, like I said, and she brought it up for a second, but then did not spend enough time like really working through it. And so it just felt like basically a porn on page. So yeah, definitely not my scene, leaving a lot to be desired. Then the next one is The Weekends with the Sunshine Gardening Society by Sophie Green. I'm probably going to rate this as maybe a 3.5. I typically stray away from more dramatic type genre. This is definitely more character driven as opposed to plot driven. I do like that the Gardening Society was kind of the central, I guess, cornerstone that brought all of these different characters' lives together, and they all had some struggles that they were working through, and through being part of this Sunshine Gardening Society, they were able to develop friendships and work through these struggles sort of together and be able to be supportive of one another. So I felt like that was really nice. So it was just kind of like a really cozy and uplifting read. Nothing particularly interesting happened. So that's why it's a 3.5 out of 5 for me. But if you're just looking for something just like easy read, super cozy, just super quiet and quaint, then this could be a good one for you. And then my next two are both going to be a 4.5 out of 5. The first one I have already returned to the library because my mum wanted to borrow, so I needed to return it so that she could loan it out, and that is The Last Mrs. Parrish. It is the second book to The Next Mrs. Parrish, which I read maybe like last year or the year before, and I really enjoyed that one. But the thing with The Next Mrs. Parrish is you didn't like really get sucked into it until like at least a third of the way through, and I feel like that is too long a time to wait to like really get into a book. Now, because all of the drama and the backstory had already unfolded, when you get to The Last Mrs. Parrish, you are sucked into it straight away because you're not kind of waiting around for things to happen. You've already had like all of this intense sort of character storyline and build up take place, but that's not to say that there's not like a lot of drama and like twists and turns and different things happening in this book. And I feel like the fact that it was both very plot driven but then also character driven as well, there was kind of that good balance, really made it a good book for me. There was a new character sort of brought into the scene. So in the previous storyline, it was kind of mostly focusing on Daphne and Amber's perspectives, but we got a new person being brought in as well. And I guess the thing that kind of had me intrigued from the get-go is, how does this person play into the storyline? What is their role going to be in this? And they definitely played like a very interesting and pivotal part in everything. So I feel like because of that, it's definitely going to be a 4.5. I'd be interested to hear what my mum thinks about it. I think that it probably was better than the first one, you know, for that reason, that it didn't sort of stuff around trying to, you know, build up a backstory before all of the good stuff happened. It just got into it straight away, and the ending was definitely very interesting. So that's a 4.5, and then this is also a 4.5. I feel like it's hard for me to rate something a 5. Like, it has to be really intriguing and a real page turner. Like, I can't put it down to rate it a 5. So if there's something that I truly enjoy but it's not quite like I can't put it down, it's got to be a 4.5 for me. So this one was John Mark Comer's The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I've read another one by him, it's called Loveology. I really like that as well. This is great if you just want to get more into slow living, intentional living, even minimalism. It had like really practical tips and thought-provoking comments. The fact that he is also Christian, it brought in that biblical perspective, but I don't think that it was like overly preachy or Jesus-y, so that if you're not religious, you could still read it and take away a lot from it. But as someone who is constantly trying to like disconnect from hustle culture, the rat race, consumerism, and just live like a more slow, intentional and mindful life, this was definitely something that I needed to read, and it brought a breath of fresh air into my day. So that's kind of the lineup for November. But true Carly fashion, I went to the library, I found something and I had to borrow it again. So this is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, and I subscribe to Sophie Stein's YouTube channel. She is from Florida. She does like really cute and cozy vlogs, and she was talking about this book in one of her book reviews. And she also mentioned that Lucy is a YouTuber as well. When I checked out her channel, she's from the UK. And then when I saw this book in the new release section of my library, I decided to give it a go. So it just says on the back, Belle's powers weren't completely dormant, they were just a little sleepy. Belladonna Blackthorn hasn't lost her magical spark, but she hasn't seen it in a while either. Balancing work at her beloved London bookshop, Luna Books, and handling her toxic boss and concealing her witchcraft from those around her, Belle is burnt out. Perfecting the potential of her magic is the last thing on her mind. But when her 30th birthday brings a summons from her coven and a trial that tests her worthiness as a witch, Belle risks losing her magic forever. With only a month to fix things and a suspicion that dark forces may be working against her, Belle will need all the help she can get from the women in her life, from an unlikely mentor figure, and even from an infuriating coven watchman who's sworn to protect her. With found family, a dash of romance, and an uplifting message about self-love, Rewitched is a cozy fantasy book that will leave readers spellbound. And that's definitely my vibe. I have given it a good start, but I thought that I would put it in like my TBR section as opposed to like giving a review of it, because obviously I haven't even got through like half of it to be able to like properly form my opinion. But I am liking it so far, and I'm also liking the fact that I'm starting to delve back into fantasy. I feel like I had been let down by the romances lately, and I just needed a bit of a genre switch up to kind of refresh things. But I will let you know what I properly think about this book in my January reset routine. Now it's time for my December books. Now I have chosen 2 from my own collection, but sadly I'm not that excited about either of them. They have been sitting on my shelf for quite some time, but I figured like now is the time to really just crunch down and get the TBR done. So the first one is Confess by Colleen Hoover. I feel like I have had less success with Colleen Hoover than like actual good reads. So I'm hoping that this one is going to be on the plus side as opposed to some of the duds that I have read previously. It says on the back, Auburn Reed has lost everything important to her. In her fight to rebuild her shattered life, she has her goals in sight and there is no room for mistakes. But when she walks into a Dallas art studio in search of a job, she doesn't expect to find an attraction to the enigmatic artist who works there, Owen Gentry. For once, Auburn takes a chance and puts her heart in control, only to discover that Owen is keeping a major secret from coming out. The magnitude of his past threatens to destroy everything Auburn loves most, and the only way to get her life back on track is to cut Owen out of it. To save their relationship, all Owen needs to do is confess, but in this case, the confession could be much more destructive than the actual sin. So I'm hoping that this one is going to be better than like November 9th and Without Merit and It Starts With Us, which were some of the more recent Colleen Hoover ones that I have read, and is going to salvage the Colleen Hoover reputation for me, if you will. And then this one was another loan from my sister Shale, and we've already established that she has quite different taste than I do. She told me it's funny. I'm not typically into humorous books. I know that there is a film version as well, but we'll see how we go. It is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson, and it says on the back, Hunter S. Thompson is driving to Las Vegas with his attorney, the Samoan, to find the dark side of the American dream. Roaring down the desert highway from Los Angeles, they realize there's only one way to go about such a perilous task, getting very, very twisted. Armed with a drug arsenal of stupendous proportions, the duo engage in a manic, surreal tour of the sleaze capital of the world. Their perilous, chemically enhanced confrontations with casino operators, police officers, and assorted middle Americans have a hallucinatory humor and nightmare terror. riotously funny, daringly original, and dead serious at its core, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a classic statement on the collapsed dream of the American 60s. So definitely sex, drugs, and rock and roll with a little bit of artwork thrown in there as well. We'll see how that one goes. Like I say, not my typical read, but I have been delving into some new genres lately, so maybe this will expose like a whole new realm of books for me. We will see. Well, that is going to wrap up our December reset routine. I hope this video has motivated and inspired you to get organized and just freshen up your space and your life for the final month of 2024. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this year. I hope you have a great last month of the year, a wonderful festive season and new year, and I can't wait to continue hanging out with you guys in 2025. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I upload new videos every single week. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.